If you're looking for a good pre-construction deal in the GTA, I have the perfect project for you. Creekside Condos in Milton is launching on August 29th, and the prices are so good I had to double check with the developer to make sure that they could actually build it at these prices. Now, full disclosure, Pre-Condo is listing this building, so I'm a little bit biased, but with that being said, I think objectively, when you look at the price per square foot I'm about to show you, you will agree with me that this is certainly the best deal in Milton, if not the best deal in the GTA as a whole, and in my opinion, probably the best price launched we've seen all year in 2023. Now, this site at Louis Saint Laurent and Highway 25 is in a great location. You're just minutes away from the hospital. You're also walking distance to Milton Sports Center, which is massive and just a stunning facility. Of course, in Milton in general, you've got downtown Milton for shops and restaurants. You have Kelso Summit. You even have Glen Abbey Park if you want to hit the slopes in the winter. So there's a lot going on in Milton, a lot of green spaces, and Creekside, in my opinion, is the best positioned and best location of the launches we've seen in Milton in recent history. Now, Creekside 1 is launching August 29th, but we do have 2 more buildings that will eventually come as future phases. Now, let's get into why you clicked the video, which is inevitably price. So we'll go through the project specifics in a little bit, but I want to touch on price first because I know that's why you're here. So if you look at new condo launches in Milton for 2023, you'll see that the average price per square foot is just over $1,000 a square foot. If you look at this neighborhood specifically, you'll see $910 a square foot. Where we are priced, $825 per square foot, parking included. Now, I won't name the other projects in Milton in this video, but I encourage you to go through their price list and you'll find out pretty quickly that Creekside is by far the most attractively priced. So it's the best deal in Milton, but you can actually expand out further than that. If you look at the Hamilton pre-construction market, and that is a market that's been very hot this year. So despite the market being pretty slow, Hamilton pre-construction in particular has been doing really, really well. They're at over $1,000 a square foot on average. You can go even further than that to Waterloo, and you'll find that they're at an average of $835 a square foot. So Creekside condos at $825 a square foot is obviously a tremendously good deal in today's pre-construction landscape. Now, inevitably, I have tons of clients who always ask me for good deals. And when I show them a good deal, the first question is, why is it such a good deal? And it's actually a great question, right? Because you want to make sure that a building can actually get built. You want to make sure that you're going to be able to move in or rent out the unit that you purchase and that the project doesn't get canceled, right? So in this case, the reason the developer is able to price so attractively is because when you look at the cost stack on a pre-construction condo, you'll see all these varying costs, right? Your construction cost, 30 to 40% of the project, soft cost, 14 to 25, government charges. It's actually higher than that now. I made this chart 5 years ago, but the point is still clear that land value, your cost of land is going to be anywhere from 10 to 30%. Now, what if you bought that land decades and decades ago? Well, your land cost falls precipitously, and that is the case with this developer. They've had this land in their portfolio for a very long time, so their costs are lower than competing developers in the area. Now, it's not just the great pricing that makes me love this project. There's a couple of other things that I really like about it. In particular, you have free parking included with every suite. Now, a few of those parking will be above ground units. Many will not, just depends on the unit. But above ground parking is very common for these types of boutique builds in Milton. And you'll find when you look at the resale comps, and we're about to get to those, you'll find that it doesn't actually affect the resale value whatsoever. In addition to free parking, the developer is also waiving development charges. So they are going to eat the cost of development charges. So that's going to save you $10,000 to $15,000, depending on if you're looking at 1 beds, 2 beds, etc. And we've got an amazing deposit structure on this project here. So $5,000 on signing, balance to 5% in 30 days, as you would normally see everywhere else. And then instead of 5%, you have 2.5% in 120 days, 2.5% in 240 days, and 5% on occupancy, which is estimated in 2025, but you know how things are in the GTA. Things tend to run slow and get delayed. So budget for 2025 through 2026 for your completion date. Now, if we look at how the resale condo market has done in Milton, it's done really, really well. We have a resale building directly across the street at 1055 Natalan Heights. Now, it's not a direct comparable because it is 9 years old. However, it is worth looking at how that building has performed over time. And if you look at the price per square foot history of resale units in that building directly across the street from Creekside, you'll see that the price per square foot has more than doubled. In fact, over 120% increase from 2014 through 2022. That's worth noting that this chart is 2014 through 2022. There's only been a few sales in 2023 and they averaged out in the high 760s per square foot. So about 767 per square foot. If we take a look at the rental market, this is where the value proposition for pre-construction in Milton really becomes apparent. So the black dot here is where Creekside's located, and then you have these 2 similar buildings in Milton. So for 33 Whitmer, you have a 1 bed and den with parking, 673 square feet, and it leased for $2,450 a month. So only about $250 a month less than you would get for a similar unit in Toronto. Now, just to show you what units are selling for in this building, I've also included this resale comparable. So this is a 673 square foot one bedroom that sold in June, and it sold for $607,000. Now, if you do the math on that, that means that this resale building in a slightly older building traded for over $900 per square foot on the resale market. So not only is Creekside a good deal from a pre-construction perspective, but it's also comparable to the price you would pay in a slightly older resale building in the neighborhood, which is something you rarely, if ever, see, particularly in the last 2 or 3 years in the pre-construction space. And just a quick 2-bedroom example here, we have 1055 Ledger, which leased for $26.50 a month. So 2-bed, 2-bath, 800 to 899 square feet. Now, the supply and demand economics of Milton is very similar to Toronto. They are building far less homes than they need to keep up with population growth. The current population in Milton is 151,000, and they're expecting 335 residents by 2051, which is an average growth of 6,500 citizens each year. However, in recent years, they've actually been surpassing their outlook and forecast a little bit. You can see that in the Halton region, Milton leads in population growth. Now, in order to keep up with the demand of 6,500 new residents on a yearly basis, you have to build about 2,500 homes. That's roughly the number that would keep the market adequately supplied based on the current persons per household multiple that you see in the census in Milton. So then, of course, the question becomes, well, how many homes is Milton actually building? And it's even worse than Toronto. So in 2023, they've only started 241 homes to date. And in 2022, they only started 527 new homes. So they need to build 2,500 homes to keep up with population growth, but they're only starting about 520 units per year. This slide just touches on rentals a little bit further, so you can see the average rent by bedrooms. So 1 bedroom's $21.25 a month, 2 bedrooms $26.13 a month, and 3 bedrooms just over $3,000 a month. So again, very close to Toronto rents, but of course you're paying far less for the unit. Put another way, we looked at the 1-bed average rent per square foot. In Milton, it's $3.77 per square foot per month. In Toronto, it's $4.61 per square foot per month. So Milton's rents on a 1-bedroom are only 18% lower than the 416. Meanwhile, the new condo price per square foot of launches in 2023 at Creekside were at $825 a foot, if you remember from the slide earlier in the deck. In Toronto, on average, and this includes Etobicoke and Scarborough, so anything in the 416, they're at $13.99 a foot. So Creekside condos is 41% cheaper than a Toronto pre-construction, while you're only seeing a discount on rent of 18%. Put another way, you're getting 80% of the value, but you're only paying 60% of the price. Now, I spoke about Milton and the location as a whole a little bit earlier, but we didn't cover specifics. So within 1 kilometer, so walking distance or a very quick bike, you have Milton Sports Center, you have Milton Hospital. And it's no secret that typically you see higher rents near the hospital. You also typically see higher appreciation. You're right in the heart of one of Milton's best school districts, and that's why this neighborhood in Milton is so popular on the resale market. Within walking distance, within 1 kilometer, you have all 4 banks. You have Sobeys Fresh, which is basically like a higher end Sobeys. And of course, you have everything else that Milton has to offer a short drive or bike away. Here we have some interior renderings of units at Creekside. You can see that the developer isn't going no frills. They are still building a upper scale building, and you can see that reflected in the finishes. So of course, you have exactly what you would expect in a condo in today's day and age. It is 2023, so of course they're including smart home tech. You've got the smart door lock, you have the lobby phone with the camera, so you can see which visitors are visiting you. You can buzz them up, and everything else you would expect to see. Now, Creekside does offer a full clubhouse of amenities. So you have a party room, you have a dining area, you have a catering kitchen, you have a full gym with both cardio equipment and weights. But they haven't opted for anything like a pool, etc., which is great to see because your maintenance fees are going to stay low. And in fact, they're starting very low as well. You're looking at 45 cents per square foot on maintenance fees. The developer, Sutherland Development Group and York Trafalgar Homes, have a history of delivering over 2,800 units. And a lot of these are very similar style, low-rise or boutique condos. Great developer to work with, and most importantly, has never canceled anything. So it's a developer that you can actually trust. So if you want any more information on this project, the registration link is in the description, or you can just reach out to me. As always, my contact details are in the description as well. Hope this video was useful, and I will see you guys next video.